Well, good morning, citizens. I'm back after a Thanksgiving break and recovering from the food coma produced. Um, Interesting thoughts about Mr. Lockenwall, the shooter from Afghanistan who murdered a National Guard soldier in D.C. last week. I see was a CIA asset. He's 29 years old. He grew up in war-torn Afghanistan and suffers from paranoia, depression, amongst many other PTSD-related illnesses and effects. And he was vetted by Trump's DHS in April of this year and allowed to be in the USA. But his family has said that his paranoia increased greatly, that he was going to be deported and sent back to Afghanistan, tossed out with the trash, like most immigrants in this country under this rapist regime. And he probably thought, if they send me to Afghanistan, I'm a dead man under the Taliban. And he's correct. Doesn't justify him killing another human being, but he clearly snapped. And we've seen this time and time again in the media. And him being a former CIA asset and a known person to the U.S. government, the people that worked with him in the CIA and on the ground in Afghanistan, the United States soldiers and or intelligence officers, should have had contact with him, or he should have had a case officer assigned to him from the immigration department. And somebody should have known that his mental state was that bad. If his family knew, the government should have known at some level. But the blame game continues. And that's the real sad thing here, is no matter what happens, whether it's a school shooting, somebody driving a truck through a parade of innocent people, a political hit, somebody famous gets killed, the first thing the media and the population now has been trained to do is going, who was the shooter and who were they aligned with and who were they acolytes of and all that other happy horse shit. And that actually doesn't matter. And we really should do a better job of ignoring that, because it doesn't get us anywhere. The real issue is the Epstein files and the known rapist who owes tens of millions of dollars to E. Jean Carroll for raping her. And that's the real focus. Also the DC National, the National Guard being in DC was an intended target by Trump. Whether it was, disaffected people in D.C. were going to take pot shots at the National Guard or this guy, something was going to happen eventually. You put armed troops with fatigue uniforms on the street long enough, you're going to draw the ire of somebody. And that's what happened. And now the response will be, D.C. is a shithole, it's a war zone. Despite the fact that the troops have been there for 3 months, Trump should be saying D.C. was fixed. And I believe he did say that everything in D.C. is cool now. And, one shooter does not make a city turn upside down in terms of crime. But you've seen all the pieces to this. They are related. We don't need the National Guard in our cities. Thankfully, it hasn't happened in Chicago. And it won't ever happen, because Donald Trump hopefully will be paying for the Epstein files. And side note, for everybody worried about redactions and the FBI and the cover-up, don't assume there's only one copy of the Epstein files. Assume there are multiple copies made long before he and his goons were in the White House. Stay safe out there.